once somebody has set foot on American soil, a certain element of American laws and American privileges and citizen freedoms automatically apply to them. So once they cross the border, and this is what people don't understand, once a person crosses the American border, they gain some of the rights of our own citizens.
Yeah.
It becomes very difficult to track their phone. It becomes very difficult to monitor and put surveillance on their home. It becomes difficult to clone their computer, because they gain some of the rights and privileges of our own citizens. Because if you imagine the United States as being like, under a dome, they've essentially they've entered the protected zone.
Yeah.
So while they're outside, we have options. Once they come inside, those options are greatly reduced. And the options that you do still have require multiple levels of bureaucratic approval. You need local municipal law enforcement approval. You need district approval. You need political approval. And then you get to the federal level, and then you need more law enforcement approval and more political approval. So it becomes incredibly difficult. So a big part of CIA's mission was always, and what I did when I was at CIA, was identifying threats and making sure that you built firewalls so that they could never capitalize on the benefits of crossing into our border. You put people on blacklists. You put people on suspect lists. You put people on secondary lists, meaning when they hit the border, they get pulled by Border Patrol into secondary for more advanced interrogations. So you try to create a buffer so that if that person ever tries to come across the border, then they're blocked. But here's a big part of our challenge, Vince. Most people think of the borders as Canada and Mexico. The whole reason we fought a civil war, it wasn't because of arguments about slavery or shoes or anything else. We fought a civil war because Lincoln understood the importance of maintaining ocean borders from coast to coast, because ocean borders are always arguably easier to police than physical borders. Well, now we live in an era where our most porous borders are actually our ocean borders. Human beings can come across in cargo, disguised as cargo, right? You or I could literally sail a boat from Canada, arrive in Massachusetts, tie the boat off, and just step off the boat and be inside the United States. Have no immigration officer, have nobody check our passports. If we do it after 4 o'clock, there won't even be somebody at the marina, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I've done some time on some of the boats and how it's patrolled, and really it's just trying to identify these certain characteristics that are known for being smuggling boats. But if you see a yacht show up, it's most likely you're not even going to second guess that yacht, because it's probably some millionaire, billionaire that just works, that's always around. I saw a video the other day on, one of these social media channels where an illegal immigrant was on the back of a Ski-Doo, and they just rode him in, boom, dropped him off, turned around and picked up another one. And so, the oceans are challenging to work.
Yeah. And people don't realize that, when we're talking about immigration en masse, that's what gets headlines. And that's what makes people vote. So politicians focus on buses full of immigrants that are being sent from Texas to New York, right? It's a fucking news bite. It's a distraction, right? The threat isn't the bus. The threat is 1 or 2 or 4 people on that bus. And oh, by the way, while you're focusing on the bus, there's a private plane arriving from some island. There's 4 sailboats coming into California. There's 3 super yachts landing in Miami. And you've got no idea about any of those, because the headlines and the politicians are distracting everyone's focus on these buses going up and down that are just carrying like a bunch of people who will not ultimately contribute to our bottom line economy.